Alright, y'all. Weather Guy here, and we are back with a little bit more of Disco Elysium. Hope you're doing awesome. I'm feeling pretty good. Right now, we're looking for the representative for Wild Pines, and we're also just kind of killing time. We have one more hour so we can go visit the smoker witness. See how that goes. The giant boat. Could be a lady. Where's the lady?
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Seems
her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce.
Take her hand.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Joyce L, what's the L stamp? No, what gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted,
terrifying.
She could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this.
Why did we take the lead?
I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you...
Him's the best. He's the GOAT.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting.
You're on a boat?
I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Let's start with the tattoos. You know something about him?
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
So you know something about the tattoos?
Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
We're going to go through all of these, except for the boat one. What about Wild Pines?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
So what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
Got it. Tell me something else.
She nods.
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What is your role in this precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Let's go.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist
John
behemoth blocking the gates.
My erasement, we're not going there. So the strike is connected to the lynching.
Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's a subject for later.
How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle
We're
of
making good
February.
progress today.
The day was still
already.
partially frozen then.
It's
I
good.
prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
I do so much listening with this Disco Elysium playthrough because it's all voice acted, you know? A lot of this is just me listening and like saying, okay, yes, makes sense.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I
Oh,
took over
interesting.
after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are
Interesting.
more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it? fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Cool or not cool? Okay then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
What are their
There are
demands?
leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member of the board.
I don't know what to think about that.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about
That's
anything,
crazy.
it needs the signature of each
You
of the
can't expect
2,200
that.
workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
What are you gonna do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
So true.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me Manana."
Oh, yeah.
This checks out.
Scabs at the gate. Did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
No, I mean scabs.
If these workers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
What do you think of Everard?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the
Total
interests of the
sarcasm.
workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
That's Everard,
He is
alright.
the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother,
No,
Edgar.
not a twin. There's two of them?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term as foreman is up, the
I'm gonna
other
forget
takes
this
over.
information, and it's gonna surprise me later.
It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself outside the
The
brothers?
Gaybarders Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Debarders
Yeah.
are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debarders Union is...
Giant leech.
Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly,
Trying to
Wild
just say what
Pines
she
have
likes to.
cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
You said something happened in the
I'm glad you
elections?
asked.
More
There
XP, let's
was a
go.
woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work.
That's
Ever.
weird.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in
Holly.
private correspondence. Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the Union's files.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a
This
Union matter.
story is getting interesting.
The point of the presentation is, These kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Change the
Of
topic.
course. How else can I help?
By the way, I've talked to Everett
You
Claire.
have. And how did you like Mr. Clare?
I didn't.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verm-like corruption, reaching into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verm myself. However,
This is
if you
good.
felt
This
like
is good.
discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We
He's
would only
very
be-
convincing.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Let's tell her all the things.
Oh. That's so helpful.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear
Oh no.
he's able to contain the anger and surprise.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. So
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
He says it's almost ready to be
Busy
filmed.
now. Well, then it should be any day now. Unless, of course, he's lying to
We're
you.
gonna tell her everything.
Anyway, was there anything else you've heard?
I helped him turn up the heat on the Porsche.
Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making?
The cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk.
The strike brew. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I
Yes.
Why, if I may ask? Why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already?
yes, detective. What were you hoping to accomplish with this strange thing?
An act born of sympathy for the working man.
Very curious. A very curious thing to do.
Truly.
Getting so much
But that's
XP
how he
here.
operates. He just does things, man, and then talks about them, even if it's inappropriate.
Tim is so sick of our shit. I love it.
What else?
He asked me to open a
A
door.
referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
No, I mean like a real door to someone's house.
Oh my.
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
It had to be done. I got information that was useful to the
That's
case.
good to hear, Detective. Police work is rarely pretty, but it sounds like you did what you had to do.
Kim's gonna be so pissed.
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal, and it was not for nothing. I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Okay. Everett says Wild Pine sent mercenaries.
Misinformation. This is all because we haven't shared information on the lynching yet. See? Already the adversary uses it to their advantage. Don't let him. Hurry up on that probe. The moment you tell me you're finished at the traffic jam, I will gladly tell you the company's side of the story.
He didn't seem at all worried.
I wouldn't have taken Everard for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by union men he wanted to impress?
We were alone and he seems super
Or
sure.
he wants you and me to believe he's calm and in control. He's a politician.
There's always that risk, man. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
Tim's right, I'm pretty sure he meant
I'll
it.
think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
That's all I got to say.
What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider.
And he asked
You may
me
have helped me prevent
to
this.
develop
Sounds
onward.
like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual.
So right.
Where did he have you deliver it?
To a nameless settlement down the coast nearby.
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
You said you can't buy the place?
Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
I don't blame her.
She is more defensive.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information?
Let's talk about something else.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Let's ask about the lynching again.
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade
Let's
secrets.
go.
For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
We don't know our
from
badge
Precinct
number, do
57.
we?
And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Remember when my partner told you I recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Yes.
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
Ugh.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia.
She's so smart.
I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm
Yeah,
afraid
info.
I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Let's go for it. Can we change clothes first? Cannot.
Feelings will guide the way.
We were close too. We were at, I think we got a 10 because we had to add 1 to that. We had 10 out of 11. But man, madam, I need to know about this lynching.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
You have so much else. I have only this. This is the entirety of my existence.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
This boat, for example, in a home somewhere. I only have this
Officer.
case. I don't remember anything except this lynching. There is only this coast and this
You
lynching.
know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just
It got
guilt.
cold
You're
outside.
doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting it.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors.
Okay.
They're going to want to see something tangible.
Like what?
The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbor. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to
Okay,
the RCM
okay, we
either.
can-
Perhaps
gotta
it's
weigh in
time
without
to
our
look into
badge.
it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us for a moment. What's up, buddy?
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
Oh, I love his whispered voice. How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
Really, I thought it was going so well.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
What do you propose, that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
Let's get back to her then. Let's do something totally different.
Back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about it.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Come from Samara to Revachol through the
Yes.
terminal.
After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients.
I love this snow, by the way. It looks so good.
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
What do you mean?
The lorries. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're
The Apples
distributed
guy
to a network
from
of
last
local
time.
manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But
The
in
racist
transit,
lorry
they are
driver.
vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now.
I
The drivers who
see.
are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright.
We're doing good.
Upstream, where it's.
And we gotta go talk to the smoker.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
It's no coincidence they're stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the trade committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
This is good.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we
Okay.
need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Okay, what proof do you have of the Union
How
involved?
do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
This makes sense. This all is making sense.
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded
Made
onto lorries and
my mind about
yes?
smuggling. We'll take the case.
Excellent. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow
3
the case
lorry
wide
drivers.
open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Let's ask for money.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy.
Why not?
Look at that lady. Take a gander.
What
Squint
lustrous
your
hair.
eyes. A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Positively statuesque.
Okay.
While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible.
So?
Now look at you. You
Oh,
misery
no.
clad simian. Barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead.
this is so
and
depressing.
Your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too
Ashamed.
You're too ashamed to ask this person for money. Too scared to belittle yourself in her eyes. Those half-precious...
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance...
Thank you,
please
that's
don't,
all for
of
now.
course, Detective.
Okay. Wow, we have so many tasks. It's fantastic. Let's double check. The smoker. Also, in a day brief, 2200. Smoker on the balcony, 2100. Okay. I don't remember the easiest way to reach that balcony. Is it just up this way? It is. How do we get inside? Is it just this door? Like I said, it's been a while. I don't remember exactly where the rooms are at. It was up these stairs though, I think. I love that we got sort of a change with the nighttime.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced.
Knock.
We should return tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Oh. I thought... We have to do it all the way tomorrow? Okay. Alright. Whatever. Maybe we can go talk to the racist lorry driver again real quick. See if we can find anything out. There we go. But today's been productive, I feel like, in terms of learning stuff. I can't believe it's still day 1 in this game, by the way. It's been a long day. And I wonder what's going to happen because we don't have the money to pay for hotel. Pay for the damages. In a little bit of a pickle, to be sure. Alright. Here he is.
Looking for something?
What's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
Smell of booze and cigarettes. What's different about narcotics?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector.
Uh-huh.
They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
So you're not smuggling.
Not in, not out.
So you're telling us that you don't know anything about drug smuggling through Terminal B?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell
He
you.
sucks. Why are you hanging out?
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Did you know what happened?
Yeah, I knew that guy.
Level up.
He was
Perfect.
an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
Bad for him, I guess.
It's a fucking travesty, is what it is.
Not you then. Who's running drugs?
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed
Very
Samaran.
racist.
His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Who's
He's
that?
a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Really, he's just selling his employer stuff. Stuff he stole after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry.
Where do I find him?
Just follow the smell. It smells like.
This guy's...
Yes.
Looks like I offended your partner there. Too bad. Sea Lang's usually
Near the canal.
His tribe are natural liars. It's in
This
their
guy is so
blood.
racist.
He's
Jeez
your man,
Louise.
all right? What?
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Sealang himself has to
Yeah,
say.
we'll pay him a visit. But first, let's level up. So we needed to level up our pain threshold. And we will use this level up to give it another shot to the gosh darn door. Yes. Are all these things on the map now? Oh yeah, look at that. Neat. Alright, let's go. Hopefully the business is still open over here. Totally missed it. Oh, they're done playing the game. It's like a total scene change. I bet the business is closed right now. The girl's not outside either. We have to wait till tomorrow. Ugh. Alright. Seems like we're about out of stuff to do. Please let us sleep here. This is so much to take in. We're gonna do all this lovely stuff next time. I'm so excited for the music and whatever might happen here. I feel like something hilarious is happening soon, potentially, down here. And there's so many people to talk to now. Sorry, that was very sudden. This is a good place to stop, though. Next time, we're gonna talk to everybody downstairs in the Whirling Rags, figure out where we're sleeping tonight, and then who knows what's after that. Who knows? We're all over the place. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you next time, and take care of yourselves, and peace out.